on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle, Nadeska, Akademiks, and Wayno here on Monday morning. Crazy times in the world. Trump declared a national emergency this weekend. There's over 166,000 cases of the coronavirus confirmed, but at least you have the three of us here with you today. But something's wrong with Ak. Usually he has a lot of energy on Monday. Something seems off.
No, my car, Leo, I'm getting to New York so quick. It usually takes me about an hour to get here. There's no fucking traffic on the way to New York. So before I could get my regular nap in the car, the nigga wakes me up. We here. What?
Oh, that's the problem. Okay.
Yeah, I got here in like 20 minutes.
Damn, I thought it was, he expended so much energy listening to Lil Uzi and pouring drinks on himself. You know what I mean, over the past
No.
I thought that's what it was.
It was only because I heard a very trash rapper. But
yeah, we're gonna talk about that eventually because I got some things to say to you about that.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well.
No, go ahead.
In the meantime, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. Like a lot of schools are closed now nationwide. A lot of stores, Nike, Apple, Walmart are closing stores temporarily. Major League Sports have shut down. And rappers are having trouble finding bread in supermarkets. Offset is just like the rest of us. Any of you guys went to the grocery store this weekend?
Yeah, I've been going like every other day. There's a bunch of people in my career, so I've been going every other day to the grocery store. But
I mean, normal things like bread and stuff is sold out, but I don't understand, like butter was sold out and also flour. What are people doing with flour that
it's in the crib cooking fried shrimp and fish? What you talking about? Pancakes, all like people in the house making everything.
All right.
No. I've been going shopping in a long. Yeah, I always see this shit online. I haven't been shopping in probably a year. So I looked online. I'm like, yo, niggas is fighting over toilet paper. I'm like, yo, niggas is tweaking.
Do you have you get grocery delivery? You just not eating?
Yeah, it's called Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a delay now? I see. All right.
Yeah, I don't even go outside, bro.
It's crazy to see how critical America people have been about like refugees and shit and how they feel, and then we panicking over toilet paper and all types of little things. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I read over the weekend about a guy I think in Tennessee who like stocked up 17,000 like bottles of hand sanitizer and disinfecting wipes. And then of course when they published the article, people went crazy, sending him death threats, showing up at his house. So he donated a lot of them. I don't know what he thought was gonna happen after that interview.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it 100. A lot of people think that like this shit is gonna eventually turn people into zombies and we gonna be living in Resident Evil. Like for real, like people, I really believe that people think that. Bro.
It's getting to that point though. It's getting to, like, I mean, honestly, the phobia is like almost like Walking Dead. It's kind of amusing a little bit. It's a little bit amusing.
Well, Waka certainly does not feel that way. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, I mean, of course, Italy is one of the countries that's has been hit the hardest because of the virus. But, you know, so people are quarantined, but they're trying to be in good spirits. Here's how they're doing that. All right, I mean, being holed up in the house for weeks definitely is not fun, but, you know, they're trying to keep it up.
I don't mind it at all. I'm good. I like it. I just like watching online, people going crazy over it. I mean, in Italy, like, you know, I think they have the highest, you know, mortality rate. So, you know, whatever to keep the people who are, you know, I think that they're on like complete lockdown. So everybody got to stay in. Whatever to keep them in high spirits, you do get bored after a while, you know. So, hey, you know, some little pump always get the party started.
Yeah, I think here in New York, so I don't know, your kids are definitely home, right? They're trying to close. Yeah. I know you're in Jersey, but closing New York schools at least until April 20th, which is definitely a long time to be home. But in the meantime, Waka doesn't really think this is real. So he did an interview with Real 92.3 where he says he also thinks that minorities can't catch this virus.
So coronavirus, are we not worried about it at all?
It's fake.
You think it's an agenda?
Yeah, I don't think minorities can't catch it. We straight.
Say that one more time.
Minorities can't catch it.
Minorities can't catch coronavirus.
No.
Why do you say? Why do you believe that?
Name one.
I don't know, but it could happen.
Name one, though.
It could happen.
Name one of us.
If it hasn't happened, it could happen.
You know,
we all descended from the same persons.
I don't believe that.
Now, did we catch it? I'm not trying to.
Didn't it hit Atlanta recently?
Yeah.
No, it hit the people passing through our airport.
Got it. Okay.
It ain't touched them soul food folks. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't even like the word minority because I feel like, are we really the minority? Or
no, we're the majority
exactly,
at this point.
So that's what I'm
All right, so look, yo, you know what's crazy about this, right? Because conspiracy theories are fun, right? They're fun. We would like to believe that a lot of the things that conspiracy theories, like watching them, I'm talking about as far as watching them for entertainment, they're fun. To question everything sometimes becomes entertainment. Now, what I don't like to see is a person like Waka who is very knowledgeable say ignorant shit like this, because Donovan Mitchell, who is an NBA superstar, has caught it. He's a minority, right? We're talking about, he's saying essentially black and Spanish, black and brown people. Donovan Mitchell has it. So to see Waka be on a platform like this and say something so ignorant just takes me back from a lot of stuff that he was able to sit up here and say. You know, when you're able to speak and say so many different things that affect people, you gotta watch what you say. And like, this is like careless. Like, that's like, what, Academic?
No, I'm not. Go ahead.
Oh no, I thought you was gonna chime in, but I just feel like that's ridiculous to say. That we're immune to disease because it doesn't touch none of them soul food people. Like, I hate seeing shit like that. Another thing is because even with soul food, that's another story. But go ahead, my fault.
I think when Waka said this, he was probably in the mindset that you were in when you had zero fear of it. So like, this interview was before Donovan Mitchell, like,
oh, okay,
and Rudy Gobert caught it. So like, again, he's seen reports of it, but probably not hitting close to home. And I mean, that's why honestly, conspiracy theorists, in my opinion, are always like, it's always people who, if they don't see it, it doesn't happen. But if you push that narrative, like, it really does hurt people. There's people who believe that there's a whole conspiracy theory with the government and like 9/11. There's people that think the moon landed. And some of those things.
What about that one?
No, with certain things, okay, but like when there are people being hurt or people being at risk, at some point you gotta like cut the bullshit, you know, or at least like try to at least be more educated in the opinion you're stating, at least publicly. Yeah. So again, I understand him also probably trying to make a light joke of it because everybody was joking about it about a week ago.
People still joking.
Everything closed down.
You seen the video of the dude that made this nigga made a whole music video.
Oh no, you trying to get on? Rappers will do anything.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Rappers will do anything.
You see the memes? People is definitely joking about this shit.
And then that's
one thing I didn't do is I didn't joke about it. Now I'm not going to sit here and say I took it like all the way super serious at the moment. I wasn't making jokes of it.
And by the way, and this is another reason why I really caution anybody. Be careful. Like, this might even be worse than the coronavirus. Just don't interact too much on Black Twitter, bro. This most ignorant, nonsensical people. They get their news from memes. Right. They believe in these wild conspiracy theories. They lack a lot of facts. And they bond together like, no matter what the situation is, even a deadly disease, it's black and white. We can't catch it. Like, just be careful, Black Twitter. Just ignorant people, man. Trust me. This is where I came from. Oh, that's really? Where that niggas can't catch a shit. It was like, nah, you know, if it was black people, they would have had a black kid on the news and showing his face. Remember Ebola? Like, that's what they were saying. But come on, man. Now I think people have realized, like, oh shit, hella people out here catching it.
Yeah, unfortunately now it feels like everything's happening really fast, but it's because like our president did a pretty shitty job of like, you know, giving us actual facts about what was going on. But I mean, talk to the kids too. So my mother, who's very, very religious, has my 10-year-old nephew terrified. Like, this is a biblical plague, end of the world. This was always coming. My sister had to sit down and have a long talk with him because he was really panicking at school. So make sure you're not like scaring the kids unnecessarily too.
I'm wondering how, like, you know, again, when we are in the United States, we look at everything from a different lens. And I'm looking at how the virus and cases are growing here as compared to other countries. Like, yo, we doing really good. We got 300 million people. In Italy, they got 60. That shit jumping up like 50,000 a day. Yeah. We got less than 5,000 people confirmed.
But that's the thing, we don't actually know, right? Because the testing is not really like up to date yet. They're still trying to figure out how to test. So it could be a lot more than we know. That's unfortunately the case.
It might take a week to get your results back.
Right, and by that time it could triple, which hopefully doesn't happen. But it's good that people are taking precautions and, you know, staying at home to help prevent the spread of the virus. Make sure you stay safe out there. Right. Shall we talk about some music? So 10 years later, Jay Electronica finally dropped his debut album. It's called The Written Testimony. 10 songs. Of course, Jay-Z was featured on this along with Travis Scott, The Dream, production by Swizz Beatz, Alchemist, No ID, and Jay Elect himself. So this is like about 9 years after he signed to the Rock Nation. His last project before this was his 2007 mixtape called Act 1. What did you guys think about this project?
Can we go first?
Don't all jump out at once.
Okay.
Oh, hell no. Nah. He just one of these? Oh, man.
Nah, so look, all right. What I liked about Jay Electronica, first time I heard him back like 08, 09-ish, was the mystique of him. You know what I mean? Like, him rapping about conspiracy theories, him having all of these different like bars that was just, it was unlike anything I've ever heard from a person coming from New Orleans, right? Honestly, I'm not mad that this album features Jay-Z, but at the same time, I didn't want to hear that.
Interesting.
I didn't really want to. I wanted to hear a song with him and Jay, or a few songs with him and Jay, but I didn't want to hear a whole album. What made me love Jay Electronica was Exhibit C. You know what I mean? Dear Molsky, like that. We never got the full version of that song. I enjoy this album, but I'm just critical of the fact that after 10 years, it felt like he needed help bench pressing. You know what I mean? Like I felt like he needed help bench pressing, and I really, as a Jay Electronica fan, wanted to hear him. Right now that I got that out the way, there's tons of great moments on here. Right, like yes, it's a lot of Jay-Z. It's like we getting to hear Jay rap in a way that we never heard him. As far as him, I take it back to on the Black Album when he said, lyrically he'd be Talib Kweli, right? Because he's rapping in a way and speaking on certain things that he's never really said in a certain type of context. But overall, it's a good album. But I really just wanted to hear Jay Electronica. There's also no Just Blaze on here.
Oh yeah, that was your stipulation.
That was my big. I mean, and I'm just speaking from a fan's perspective. Like, I mean, I don't know if they're just not working together for whatever reasons, but it's like to get a Jay Electronica album 10 years later, to not have Just Blaze on it, for it not to be solely him, I was a little bit let down there. But overall, like, I did enjoy Jay Electronica on here.
Okay.
I just didn't look for it to be him in a featured album with Jay.
Interesting. You feel like that was a crutch for him, Mac?
Well, let me first and foremost kick off my opinion by saying that I wasn't one of them niggas who was waiting for this for 10 years. So you could take or leave my opinion after I've said that. Okay, so I'm not but when he did drop Exhibit C, I was very impressed. And, you know, even though I felt like some people went so far with assuming or projecting what a full body of work from him would have been, you know, I thought he was just a really good rapper, you know? Right. But of course, I fed into some of that too. I was like, oh shit, like the way y'all talking, like this is like the prodigal son. Anyway, you know, this project came, I think it's a collab album. It's really a Jay-Z and Jay Electronica album. And to me, I thought it was good. That's it. Like, you know, I don't think it was like game changing or anything. It was super interesting to see how Jay went back and forth with Jay Electronica. I will say there's a lot of Nation of Islam propaganda on this joint, but
well, you know, I mean, Jay Electronica, that's always been in his message. He's always been a person that's repped the nation. I think that's what made it so interesting. I never seen a person from New Orleans that was, you know, Nation of Islam, that spoke on some of the shit he spoke on and how he did it and why he did it. And a lot of his songs was unfinished. Like, remember, like, 2009, he was dropping a lot of songs that was just 1 minute or half a song. You know what I mean? Then it's like when he's painting the visuals, he's going and visiting Shaolin temples and stuff like that. So I was more interested to hear like this crazy, how you say it, like an enigmatic world of Jay Electronica, which I still feel is a little bit there, but I wanted to just hear him. I mean, I wanted to hear him solely. But ultimately, I think it's a good album. But it's so many people jumping out the window just because Jay's featured on it, saying only built for Cuban links and all. I'm just like, yo, fam, like, we live in this time capsule of shit being so short. How do you compare? I don't give a fuck if Jay-Z is on the shit himself. How do we compare an album that came out 2 days ago to an album that's 25 plus years old? It changed hip hop. The Purple Tape changed hip hop, and just people just throwing so many things out there. And I think the reason why is because we don't get rap like this often. Right. That people are just so excited, you know. But I feel like people are jumping off the fucking roof when it comes to the comparisons or the ratings.
Yeah. So like just analyzing it on a critical level, I thought it was good. I don't know if it will have a replay value, but time will tell, which it does with every project that comes out. I did bring up before the project came out that I felt like there was, like, he had to be feeling a lot of pressure to deliver pretty much an outstanding body of work. And he addresses that. Yeah. Like, I forgot what track it was, but I guess he was basically almost like playing out a conversation he had with Jay. And Jay was basically saying to him like, yo, dog, you just scared of a little hype? Like, what's up? Like,
Yeah.
and I think clearly if I'm reading into that, it's probably Jay that's motivated him to do the project, which I could see why not only, when I saw him in the studio, I thought Jay was just more doing EP. I didn't know Jay was spitting bars to the capacity of being on about every other track.
So you feel like we might have never even gotten this album if Jay didn't push him to put it out then?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. And there's good moments on there, like the Ghost of Soldier Slim joint on there. Like, it's to hear Jay and Alchemist finally. Like, I've always wanted to hear Jay over some Alchemist production, but like, again, good album, but I just wanted more Jay Elect. I'd have been good with 1 or 2 whole features as opposed. And another thing is, it's really only 8 songs because one of the songs on there is 10 years old, Shiny Suit Theory, which is a dope record, but it's really just 8 songs. The other song is an intro, like that's just production. It's not no rapping on it.
I would say my favorite track is Ghost of Soldier Slim.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's mine.
Aggressive.
What about Flux Capacitor? So we've never heard Jay directly address all this criticism he got about the NFL deal, but he does it on this song, basically saying, why would I even sell out? I'm already rich. It doesn't make any more sense.
I wanted to know what you thought about this bar act.
I don't think that addressed the question. I don't think no one, first of all, I think selling out is, I don't necessarily, even me with my harsh critiques of Jay, I never thought he was selling out. I've always just said I feel Jay's a businessman. So when the culture or people think Jay's doing things for holistic reasons or, oh, I'm just doing this for some selfless reasons, like he's doing it that may benefit the culture, but also definitely will benefit his pockets and other moves he's trying to make. I do think that, honestly, this NFL move is more about him positioning himself either possibly to be an owner or at least to increase his power within that world more than it is to fight the fight that Kaepernick was supposedly fighting. Now, does it mean he can't do both in some capacity? No. And I just get offended when I see people almost trying to make him like Jesus. He's not Jesus. He's a businessman. He's a businessman who does care about his community somewhat, and not at the sacrifice of business. And yes, he does donate to a lot of things, right? But when he's dealing in business, there is a bottom line that needs to be addressed in terms of to making sure his interests are also furthered too. That's all. Like people saying he's sold out, I don't think Jay is really.
But you did say that he wasn't a person of the people. He wasn't for the people.
No. Meaning that the moves that y'all are crediting him for, that is y'all think is for y'all, is for him.
You made it sound like it was 95% business and maybe 5% for the people.
I think it's 80-20.
80-20. And to be fair, so we talked about all of that a lot, and then a few weeks ago I was trying to look this up because I forgot. So, he got the NFL to commit $100 million to criminal justice reform, and we never really talked about that. So sometimes it feels like we're just reporting one side of the story. But Wayno, what do you think?
No, I just I don't agree, with the whole 80-20 thing. I think that he does a lot of things, that's gonna benefit him down the line, but not without inclusion of something that he could do that gives back. For the most part. That's how I felt about that.
All right, so since Jay is so heavily featured on this project, of course, fans have questions about this, and we're actually going to do a little verses with them. So the fan question was, do you think Jay's guest features on Electronica's album overshadow him in a way? You guys sort of addressed that already, so let's get into verses. So from a written testimony, we're going to start with a song that you both really like, Ghost of Soldier Slim. Who had the best verse?
I'll go with Jay on this one. It's just the first the first voice we hear on Jay Electronica album is Jay-Z. I think that just Jay being aggressive on the tracks and then him rapping over shit that we've never heard him rap on. Another thing that I gotta credit Jay Electronica for, even though there is no Just Blaze on there, he did produce majority of these records. So that's a lot of heavy lifting that I don't know what it is to rap and produce, but I know that that's not easy, but I got Jay on this one.
Okay.
I got Jay as well. I felt that.
Z, right? This is 2 J's, right?
Yeah, Jay-Z. I felt like his verse was the perfect way to start a project, honestly. I liked it. And, I don't even want to kind of pit them against each other, but I was rocking with Jay verse on this song heavy.
Yeah.
All right, what about The Never Ending Story? This one is also featuring The Dream.
This one I got Jay Electronica on. like he starts to track out on this one, I believe.
Yeah.
And you know, I felt like he was just kicking some real shit, like, and at least not that like he just outshined Jay, but like I was really feeling what he was saying here. The reason why I didn't have him on the Ghost of Soulja Slim, he got into like this flow, and I was like, I ain't like it.
He's throwing off by it.
Yeah, I was throwing back.
I got Jay-Z on this one as well. On Never Ending Story. I mean, I think this the one with the Alchemist. I think this the Alchemist beat right here. Yeah, this is the first time we getting to hear Jay on Alchemist. So it's like, you know, that's the first, and I don't know if it's gonna be the only time, because you never know when he's dropping an album, but like that's what really did it for me. Amidst all the other shit that he's saying on here. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The thing about this album is a lot of really, really good rapping on here. It's a lot of really, really good rapping on here. Just wish it was Jay Electronica.
Aw. Should we do one more?
Man, this nigga.
I'm like, listen, man. Hey.
Man, take the Lakers hat off and put the Rock Nation on, bro.
Oh, stop.
All right, the last one is Ezekiel's Wheel, and then we'll move on, because you guys don't sound so hyper.
Well, no, I got Jay Electronica on this one. I do got Jay Electronica on this one. This is the one where I felt like it was the only time where he really was like, nah, I'm gonna just overdo it on this one. You know what I mean? But I got Jay Elec on this one.
Yeah, I got Jay Electronica as well on that one. I felt like this. No, I feel like he did his thing on that.
Okay.
Well, you know, for the most part, if you listen to the whole project, you know, they had 8 tracks together. Like, I think it's almost like split. There's other tracks that I believe Jay, I won't say outshine, but like definitely showed up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we know you're a little bit underwhelmed, but Punch from TDE had this to say about the project on Instagram. A lot of people were excited about this. He said, "It's crazy being surrounded by lyricists. You forget that that's not what everyone else is doing." He said, "The responses to Jay Elec's album reminded me of that. It shows how much people miss words and metaphors and imagery and complex rhymes and deeper content." Did you feel like that was a general reaction?
Yeah.
Or is it just the people who have been waiting a decade for the project?
It is, but we're in a world where that's not the leading thing. I mean, I was looking, you know, we just recently had Jadakiss on the show. I was just looking at like his old sales, and Jada at one point in time did 248,000 and had and I think he was like number 2, or it might have been number 1. I could be wrong, but that was just all lyricism. He never had too many singy hooks or nothing. Right now, it's every rapper, if you don't rap and sing, niggas look at you like you crazy. 10 years ago, we was looking at Drake crazy for rapping and singing a bit. Well, the way he was, because he was doing full-on R&B. Because everybody always says, well, 50 Cent was doing it. 50 Cent wasn't doing R&B the way Drake does R&B. But now it's like, that's the norm. So when somebody just fully raps, everybody's kind of taken back, or they're just like very nostalgic about it. There is great lyricism on here, and I think that's what makes people remember. I think that's why if Kendrick drops an album, there's gonna be people calling that shit a classic in an hour, just because of how he raps. You know, because, you know, Lil Uzi is at the forefront, Lil Baby is at the forefront, Gunna, Future. Not knocking none of them because they put out great music, but we don't get this as much as we like. Okay.
We're gonna talk about the Uzi Deluxe tomorrow, Akademiks. Is that what you were listening to all weekend?
No, I disagree with Punch in both ways. Like,
why?
Well, do you have a tweet you can put back up? So he said that it's crazy being surrounded by lyricists. Forget that that's not what everyone else is doing. Okay, that is true. So I don't disagree with that. He says the responses. I think honestly the responses to the Jay Electronica album is like it's a lot of nostalgic like type of vibes. Like people who wanted it. I don't hear nobody who like really. Who weren't checking for him or who aren't into like, oh, I can't wait till Jay drops a verse or something like that was really hyped about this. Like, it really didn't hit a lot of radars. You get me? Now, in comparison to what, quote unquote, everybody else is doing, or even what you alluded to, like what's at the forefront, the content niggas have always been at the forefront. It's just that it's not the ones who are doing nostalgic content. Like, I love Jadakiss, but Jadakiss is, at this point, we're still top 5 all time. Like, we're still kind of moving off of a decade plus. Kendrick's at the forefront. He just don't drop a lot. You know what I mean? Low management. I keep telling you about these niggas.
I mean,
but generally, it's the rappers who are more lyrical and who come with content that are either selling the most or usually leading. I think in the last year or so, right? We just haven't seen those rappers drop as much as we like to. I think the year before that, is it 2017 or 2018? We actually saw them put out more music. Last year, we barely seen anything at all from them. You get me?
I mean,
so like if we're imagining that this year we're getting Cole, right? We're gonna get
hopefully Kendrick.
hopefully
Big Sean.
Kendrick, right? Big Sean. You get me? Like, and also I can't agree with that in terms of like, first of all, Uzi selling whatever he sold is, to me, I think that's marking a shift of like fans of these quote unquote what used to be called mumble rappers being respected, because they've never been at the forefront, really.
Well, I mean, it's
Like-
it's the thing about I just think like what Uzi.
And look at Cordae. Corday's getting like a lot of respect. Like, you know, like
Yeah, but he's still new. I think it's just for like older crowd type rappers. I mean, while yeah, I'm not looking for this album for the numbers and none of that shit. I do think that there is a big awareness of this album. I think a lot of people are paying attention to it, but yeah, come on, Ak, we know that this is not the shit that hits top 10. This is not the records or the songs that's on here probably won't be number 5 on Billboard or nothing. So it is a little taken back because you don't see it as often as you used to.
But whose fault is that?
I don't think it's anybody's fault. I just think that rap.
I think it's the artist's fault.
Well, I don't think it's at fault. I think that rap is just a young man's game. You know what I mean? Like, the younger you are, depending upon what you're doing and how you affect the culture, is what drives the kids. The kids is what makes hit records, not us. Like, I don't think that like Jay Electronica is trying to make that type, like trying to even get in the space of making a record that could compete with Lil Uzi.
Well, not in terms of commercial success. I wasn't even talking about that because, as I said with Jay Electronica, like I don't think what he was doing was even that type of play because it brought back nostalgic vibes. I look at it like TDE though. Like, y'all got a whole roster of like lyricists. If y'all dropped a little bit more, we would see it a little bit more.
Nah, niggas just dropping.
Like, Lil Baby dropping mad times.
No, niggas
we got
just
Uzi
dropping.
dropped like 59 songs in like a week.
Yeah, niggas is dropping. I just think that like the generations, how the music is consumed is a little bit different. Because this is not trying to be funny, but the bars that's on this album is the shit that the meme pages make fun of. Niggas want to hear Lil Baby rap about pyramids and third eyes and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they joke on that type of stuff. And I don't expect a 17 or 18-year-old kid to really indulge in that type of shit unless they growing up around it. And they're just not growing up in a time where that's the shit.
Yeah, I just feel like for more lyrical / content rap, I feel like those rappers, they have to drop a little bit more. Like, they take a lot of space. Like, look at Big Sean, bro. Like Big Sean just like went MIA, he popped up, did an interview, dropped half a song.
Yeah, but I mean, we
don't know what's going on.
We don't, but we also. But Ak, you know, we also
haven't seen
factor
Kendrick in like 2 years, bro.
I know, we also factor in, I mean, especially with music, more now than ever, we factor in people's personal lives and what they're going through. And
there are
what
different points in their career, too. They were dropping a lot more frequently earlier on in their career. Some of them are a decade in already, which is crazy.
I don't think, Uzi has put himself in Uzi used to have to drop all the time. He's put himself in a position where he don't have to do that no more. Big Sean, I think, even though, you know, he's been in shit a decade now or more, he's not in a position where he has to drop 2-3 times a year. I mean, to stay relevant. I think that he still has a core fan base that's going to support him regardless. And if he needs to take his time off to regroup, to put his shit out the way he wants to, I'm fine with that. As long as when he comes out, he comes with some fucking heat.
That's why I say overall, I disagree with it because I feel like this shit goes through phases. Like, later on this year, it's gonna be the phase of the lyrical niggas. Trust me. All the little niggas, they getting their shit, they're running it right now. They're the number ones right now, right? But when the other shit and it starts to get that change, it's just cycles, you know?
Ping pong. Yeah, it goes back and forth.
So I think both are represented, you know?
Ping pong. All right, so we'll talk about the Uzi project tomorrow and Blueface as well. I think last week we talked about, or a couple weeks ago, Tory Lanez saying he's about to be out of his major label deal after he releases his project New Toronto 3. So he just did an interview with NME and he's basically saying he doesn't even see what a label can offer him at this point. He says this will be my last project signed to a major. I think from this point, I'm gonna go completely independent. I've been in it for 10 years and I'm still relevant. I think I'm at the best place in my career that I've ever been and I'm gonna keep on rising. Do you think Tory is right at this point? He doesn't even need a major?
The thing is this, it's like going to school. Like, you know, I think that he's been in music school long enough and he's made enough money where he can make that type of decision. Everybody doesn't have that option. But I think that he could definitely sustain because he has a fan base. He's probably has people on his team that know distribution. From what I know, they do shoot all their own videos. They come up with the concepts. He does the music. I think he's right in that sense, you know. But I mean, also with Tory, as good as he is musically, I just never seen him step into being more of a brand outside of music. And that's not for everybody. I don't think he's gonna be doing Kit Kat commercials and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think that like that's the only thing he lacks.
Dairy growth commercials.
If he did that, that nigga would be out of here. If Tory Lanez came out with a grease right now that he said could regrow your hair, he'd be the fucking man. But I just don't see him doing stuff like that.
Okay. He also said that he wasn't necessarily putting 100% into the music because it seems like he was maybe just trying to get off the label. So, Ak, what do you think?
I don't believe him one bit. Anytime when rappers start inviting you into what's going on with their label, I usually think they're trying to use fans as leverage. You never tell.
Oh, he's negotiating now.
Yo, I've never heard like them tell me like, yo, I'm just so happy I got 4 more albums left. No, I've never heard that. We only hear when you're about to get off. Maybe I'm thinking about. No, this is like the fucking like bat signal like, yo, I'm about to be a free agent. Send me offers. I'm not too happy. Remember I was gonna expose these niggas? Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
He was about to expose them like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
They did something, he got him happy. Now he's at that point and say, okay, the next project. By the way, I think another thing that does factor into it, I'm gonna tell you why I do think he needs a label. I don't know if he necessarily has a team, and I know he does have a good team, but has a team that's really equipped for all the releases. He drops too much music. He drops too much music. So he'll drop an R&B tape, rap tape, an album, a Spanish project. Like, come on, bro.
Do you think he
like,
should drop less and work those more?
They got put on hold, but he dropped like 2 songs. But all that being said, right? You're putting out that much music. Shit, like you need either a really large team or you need like maybe a machine to make sure the quantity you're putting out doesn't get drowned out by some of the quality you do put out through it. Now, do I think he's kind of dialed it down for like a project or so to fulfill requirements or just like get a project together? Yeah, but I do think that this is just this is social media posturing.
You're just talking shit.
Yeah, social media posturing to get a bigger check. And it's cool.
Let's see.
Because, if you're independent and Tory, I think it'll be really tough. Tory puts out a lot of fucking.
Do you think he should be putting out that much music? Or should he do less music and work the projects longer?
No.
Because he puts out great music.
Yeah, no, I think he should put out as much music, but I think when you're operating like that, you almost need a machine to complement it. But I could be wrong, but that's what my thought is.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Maybe he gets a big deal off of this one. So today for Big Facts or BS, we got Lil Baby and Queen P. Let's start with Lil Baby. He was up here recently. He says, if y'all fall out about some paper, that is not your homie. Big Facts or BS, Wayno.
BS.
Wayno look like he fell out with mad niggas for money.
Nah, I mean, this is the thing, man. It's easy for artists to say. You know what I mean? The thing about falling out over money, it depends on how that's positioned. Because that could be anything. That could just be me loaning you some money, you not paying me back, or me making you some money and me not getting paid for it. It's a lot of different ways you could fall out over money. So I'll just say BS overall. But yeah, I don't know if that's totally accurate.
Okay, Ak, have you ever fallen out with some friends over money?
I agree with him. But on the reverse, I don't know if this is what he meant.
Huh?
Okay.
If you have a friend and that friend starts acting funny when it comes to money, like you can't let that friendship with y'all make that not be a point. If a friend will play with your money, that's not your friend.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's not your friend. Because I'll bring it back.
Money tears families apart. I just want to throw that out there.
You're right. Listen, man. I had to look at my homies. We all went through college together differently. We had an apartment together right after college. The lease is in my name. They all thought I was that good of a friend. They would pay me rent whenever, and I gotta pay the landlord. We eventually got kicked out. But you know what I realized? Like, they would almost kind of like wild out on me when I'm asking for the money I'm owed. I'm like, at that point, you're looking at me like, if I'm your friend, I shouldn't even approach you about what I'm owed.
Right.
Like, hold on now.
So that's where I have the problem at, right? Like now, if I lent you bread and then I ask for my money back, how are you upset at me? Like, and that happens way too often. Or if you owe me money and I'm just inquiring about when I could get mines, that shouldn't be a problem because it wasn't a problem when your ass needed this shit, right? So this is why I don't loan money out. I would, if somebody needs something from me, I'll give it to them. And if I never give anybody anything I can't lose, right? But if I give you something, I at least look for a gesture. It don't even got to be giving it back. Like, it can be light paper. I done fell out with people over light paper.
Yo, let me tell you this. When it comes to like people and you lend them money, sometimes they're quicker to pay back a stranger. Oh, they pay the bank back all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yo, they never finesse the bank.
Right.
Oh hell nah. They ain't gonna mess with
Well,
the
because there's repercussions. Yeah.
But the friend, yo, they should be like, yo, Wayno, what up? They in the club popping bottles. They just bought a new car on the gram. They bought $5,000 for you. You have the audacity to be like, yo, like this is 5 years later. Yo, what's up with that? Like $5,000 I gave. Yo, Wayno, I thought we was cool. I'm telling you, man. So those type of people you gotta watch out for because
that's cool.
they hold the leverage that y'all are friends to mean that money is something that shouldn't matter in terms of if they owe you.
I just want everybody to know, in times like this, the crisis that we're facing, I'm coming back for everything I've ever owed. Lent the motherfucker or whatever they owe me. So get ready, 2020. I'm getting my shit back.
You're about to have some tough conversations,
If you owe me
Wayno.
some fucking money, I'm on your ass.
Wayno's sending
this
the
year.
lawyers.
You better tell that nigga the wire, man. Them niggas might spray price on the money. Tell them to wire that shit. Oh, you want that bread? I got you, nigga. Hold that.
All right, so our next one is from Chicago rapper Queen Key. She says, I feel like if an artist gets rich off a song, the producer should too. This is big coming from an artist. Big facts or BS?
No, absolutely, but this is fucking, that shouldn't even be a thought. That big facts. Like, I think, like, that shouldn't even be a thought. First of all, producers who don't know, a lot of producers get finessed into, like, having a little record. We seen it happen, like, with Designer and the Kid Menace, I think, at the time. You know, like somebody catch a record and you hungry, you be like, yo, just send me $500, and then the shit goes on to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. I don't know what that kid ended up making, but I know a lot of kids don't have their business right. You're supposed to own 50% of the song. If you're a producer, and if I make a beat and Nadeska and Akademiks rap on it, I get
50% of public.
50% of the public, right? I get 50% of the publishing, but that's where your money is really at, and you're supposed to get a 4% royalty rate. Y'all two split that 25.
What?
You know
really?
what I mean? Yeah, it's breaking down into 100. But the thing about it is, so many kids don't know this, and then they come, some new person comes in, they got a record, and some greedy manager pops in. Yo, just let me buy the beat. Let me buy the beat for $50. You buy the beat, and then you give up all your rights, and this person goes on and makes millions of dollars, and you get nothing. So absolutely, if an artist gets rich off a song, producers should as well.
Yeah. I mean, from my, I'll say my entrance classes into the music business. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, half the pub goes to the writer and half goes to the producer. Royalties, because here's the thing. When people think about music, though, a lot of people don't think about pub. Like pub seems like money that's super long term, while they look at, oh shit, this sold what, when. And that's like the immediate money, even though that still don't get paid out immediately. But still, that's how they think about music. And that's the royalty. And when you look at that, like, most people, like, I know you're saying 4%. Shit, somebody might just say, give me the advance, which is the upfront money.
Right.
Give me the advance or whatever, $500. I don't want the 4% royalty. Now, that record makes millions, that 4% would have been worth a lot more than $500.
And another thing I just want to give them before we get off this topic is, you know, somebody told me a story about someone who I produced on Biggie's Life After Death, and it was a older person that had got sampled. Remember, Biggie's Life After Death was a double disc. That shit sold 10 million, went diamond, so it really went 20 million because they counted the double disc at the time as 2 albums sold. Yo, they said that this dude was down on his luck, didn't have nothing, went to his mailbox, opened it up, and had a check for $2 million.
Wow.
Off of a song he made 20 years ago.
That's amazing.
So this is why owning your shit is very important. You know, because you might make a song today, it might not do much now, but 15, 20 years from now, it's a kid that loved that song and they sample it and make it into something, at least you win on the business.
All right, so big facts. Producers, send Queen Key some beats.
Absolutely.
She's trying to make sure business is done fairly. I respect it. That is our show for today. I just want to say, though, because of the coronavirus, most of the staff from Complex, they're working from home. We're obviously here. We're supposed to be here for the rest of the week, but it's not 100% because shit's moving really fast. So just in case we're not, we love you. We're going to move up our break a couple weeks. But then we do have a contingency plan to record from home, which is about to be super weird. But anyway, we'll most likely see you here for the rest of the week. In the meantime, enjoy your day. We'll probably see you tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.